Plenty of progress this week, fortunately. The beginning is more deburring of the ribs and spars and some rivet holes. And as I get that wrapped up, you'll see some of the dry fitting for all the parts for both flaps at the same time. The ribs are a bit tricky to get into the spar, but not terribly difficult. I just gotta finagle with them a little bit and get that done. I did take the opportunity to label the spars with the same matching numbers of the ribs and the nose ribs to make final assembly foolproof. If you remember last week, I talked about some of the numbering sequences being a little bit difficult, but I got that sorted out with the numbering of the spars. Some match drilling before putting the skins on there moments ago, and then when you're putting the skins on, be very, very mindful of which ones are the tops, which ones are the bottoms, which one's inboard, which one's outboard. Just remember that the trailing edge of the flaps curves slightly back into what will be the skins of the fuselage. That helps kind of keep a frame of reference of what's what. To me, it's always very satisfying when the pieces go together and the dry fitting process is done. Everything fits very, very nicely. All of the match drilling that the CNC punch press does makes things fit together very nicely when it's all said and done. Got the trailing edges fitted and dry fit and then trimmed down to size and then do some match drilling for those and get those ready. And then the match drilling for the hinge bracket sub-assemblies, I used the long number 40 bits to get the holes lined up. That number 40 bit does have some flexibility to it, so it helps getting into some of those tighter spots. And then match drilling the holes for the trailing edges, and then doing a unbelievable amount of deburring and dimpling to get all these things ready for the final assembly for the flaps. It's a little discouraging to me to do the deburring and the dimpling, but it's part of the process that needs to be done. I did briefly reassemble those pieces. I left the blue vinyl a little bit long, and it would have been permanently trapped between the nose skin leading edges and the flap skins, so I had to bust out the iron really quickly and get those trimmed back, as you see there, to preserve that blue vinyl, but make sure that it didn't get pinched in between the two. The flaps are simple in general, but they are much, much larger than I was expecting them to be. So because of the sheer surface area those things are, it takes a while to get them processed, to get them trimmed, to get them treated for the final assembly. So it's just one of those things where you got to be patient and keep plodding along and know that the end is near type thing. But I am ready for final assembly, and that will start next week.